of the Prophet ﷺ where he prohibited al-Qaza. And what is al-Qaza? Is to shave part of the hair and to leave the other part. It is not prohibited to have the hair on the top of the head longer a little bit than the hair on the sides. This is the normal haircut. Anyone among the Muslims and the non-Muslims, the normal haircut would be that the hair on the side would be a little bit shorter. What is prohibited if someone comes and he shortens it to the skin, like the Marines, when they have their haircut, they do it this way. They have the top longer, but it's almost shaven on the sides. This is prohibited. Why? Because this is imitating the kuffar, the disbelievers. Plus, it is qaza. If someone wants to make a mohawk haircut, like Mr. T, for example, also this is haram. This is qaza, clearly. Some football players may come and have weird haircuts. So probably you find someone just shaving a line on the top of his head or on the side of his head, while the other hair is normal, but he just has a line here shaven. Of course, this is haram. This is qaza, which the Prophet prohibited, alayhi salatu wasalam. Unfortunately, I was told that some Muslims may do such haircuts.
Shortening the sides, or what we call it a fading haircut, is not a problem. The problem is with al-Qaza, where you shave the sides and you leave the cap. And some people do the opposite. So shaving some of the head and leaving the rest is not permissible. That is called al-Qaza. But a lot of people have heavy hair on the sides, so they do the fading haircut, not imitating any person who is a non-Muslim celebrity. They're just doing it because it suits them better. That is permissible.
With the trimmer?
With the trimmer is not shaving, brother. Because the hadith is shaving. The hadith is talking about shaving. حلق بعض نهى النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم عن القزع. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم forbade to do qaza. And they asked, what is qaza, ya Rasulullah? He said, qaza is to shave part of your hair and to leave another. So shaving. So the hadith is talking about halq. Halq is not talking about trimming. According to all the scholars,
so like with the blade, with
the blade, this is a shaving. But if they are taking just like gradual, line. So they are taking gradual line from bottom to above, and they are using the trimmer, not the shafer. Maybe they will use the shafer to just fix some places, but not to shave the hair itself. Yeah. So yes, I think still okay. Still okay. I wouldn't recommend it personally, but it's still okay. I don't think so.
We are taught by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum say, "Naha Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam anil qaza." Do you know what that means? They said the Prophet, peace be upon him, has prohibited us from qaza. What is qaza? For us, and a lot of the boys do this, to cut our hair different sizes. Whoa. So you shave part of your hair and you left the other part. The messenger, peace be upon him, the same one who's telling you that I'm going to be waiting on the pond. You know the pond known as al-Qaza, where the water will be on that day when we will all need to quench our thirst with a little bit of water. The messenger, peace be upon him, whose concern as per the hadith is ummati, ummati. It will be my ummah, my ummah. He will be waiting for us on the pond in order to intercede on our behalf. And do you know what? He says, I will recognize the members of my ummah. But when he said, don't cut your hair in a way that part is shaved and part is there, and we pitch up on that day walking, with our baggy jeans halfway down our backsides, and we're coming and we meet the Prophet, peace be upon him, he's waiting there on the hawd. What do you expect? Is he going to say, hey, this is my man from my ummah, come lad? May Allah forgive.
بالنسبة لصنع أو حلاقة الشعر على شكل متدرج بالنسبة للرجل، هل يعد من القزع؟ الجواب نعم. بالنسبة لحلاقة شعر الرجل بشكل متدرج، يعني يجعله يخففه من الأسفل ثم يرتقي به، هذا من نوع من أنواع القزع الذي نهى عنه النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام، بل شدد في هذا العلماء، لأن هذا مظهر يعني من مظاهر التدين عند بعض الأقوام ومخالف لما نعتقد، ولذلك الإنسان ينتبه لمثل هذا الأمر.
A long time ago, I was in a masjid, and I was sitting there, and the fellow used to, after Maghrib prayer, this was back in college, after Maghrib prayer, he used to recite a hadith. Just open a book of hadith and recite a hadith. And he recited this hadith about qaza. And qaza is the ritual of uneven haircuts. You know how like some people get mushroom haircuts? Like they got like shaved over here and like whatever, or it's short hair and long hair or whatever. Or people do like a mohawk or whatever they do, right? If your hair is not even and it's not all equally sized, then it can qualify as qaza. And in this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, he forbade qaza. And this fellow is explaining this hadith, and he reads the hadith and says, brothers, check your hair. Oh, somebody's hair is short over here and longer over here. Astaghfirullah, inna lillahi wa inna. I gotta go get a machine that mows this equally because the Prophet ﷺ forbade Qaza. And then you go back to Ibn Hajar Asqalani's commentary, other scholars' commentary, because a hadith is a statement of the Prophet ﷺ, yes or no? Right? It's a statement of the Prophet ﷺ. But the statement of the Prophet ﷺ didn't originate in a book. It was part of a conversation with somebody that happened at a certain place, at a certain time, with certain people around. And when you understand context, then you understand what a person actually meant. If a couple of friends are sitting having dinner, and I say to one of them, man, I'm going to kill you. You better stop, I'm going to kill you. And then somebody quotes, Ustad Nouman said, I am going to kill you. And he meant, and they interpret this as murder or something. In that context, am I joking around? Am I being sarcastic? Am I speaking for you? Yeah, sure. But if you take it out of context, can it mean something entirely different? Yeah. So in the context of that hadith, what do you find? Before Islam, when people used to have cute babies, they'd get really scared that a jinn will become attracted to this baby and he will be possessed by a demon. So they would make sure that they cut one lop of hair from this side, a lock from this side, a lock from that side, give the kid an ugly haircut, so the jinn says, that looks uglier than me, he leaves them alone. Because the jinn are attracted to good-looking kids, so you're going to leave them alone. And this was the practice the Prophet ﷺ found, Qadar. And he said, don't do this. When he said don't do this, was he forbidding haircuts, or was he forbidding superstition? He's forbidding superstition. But if you don't know that context, you think the law is your hair better be 6 centimeters here, and 6 centimeters here, and 6 centimeters here. Otherwise, you're against the sunnah. That's a problem, isn't it? But when someone interprets it and says, this is the law, this is what it means.
इसके बारे में
देखिए इसको कज़ा करना कहते हैं सही मुस्लिम हदीस है आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने कज़ा करने से मना किया कज़ा ये होता है कि जैसे कि फुटबॉलर भी वो बीच में लाइनें पूरी बनवाते हैं रिमूव कर दिए एक फौजी कट है वो कज़ा के ज़ुमरे में नहीं आती क्योंकि वहां आप उस तरह नहीं फेरते ये साइड हल्की करते हैं ये इसमें कोई शरी गिरफ्त नहीं है शरी गिरफ्त के लिए फतवा लगाने के लिए 100% वही सर्कमस्टांसेस होने चाहिए कि कोई बिल्कुल उस तरह फेरे साइड पे या दरमियान में और बाकी बाल रखे वो कज़ा है मसला नंबर
Qadar. Nafi replies, a boy with the gender that is woman is haram. Regarding those haircut which are makruh, it is Qadar. There's a hadith with the Prophet. It's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 7, hadith number 5920, that Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, said that the Prophet forbade Qadar. Ubaidullah asked, what is Qadar? Nafi replies, a boy whose hair has been shaved but has tuft of hair here and a tuft of hair there. A similar hadith is repeated in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 7, hadith number 5921, where Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, says that the Prophet forbade Qadar. And brackets it says, Qadar means a tuft of hair here and a tuft of hair there of a boy whose head has been shaved. There's another hadith in Sahih Muslim, volume number 5, hadith number 5559, where Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, says that the Prophet forbade Qadar. And Ibn Umar asks Nafi, what is Qadar? Nafi replies that when a person whose head has been shaved partly and head which has not been shaved partly, that is Qadar. It's also mentioned hadith of Abu Dawud, of Sunan Abu Dawud, volume number 4, hadith number 4195, that once the Prophet saw a boy whose head has been partly shaved and partly uncut. So the Prophet told him, either you shave your head completely or keep the hair completely. So based on all these hadith, the fuqahas, they say that this type of haircut, Qadar, they are makruh. And Ibn Qayyum, he gives details of variety of Qadar, variety of types of Qadar. And he said that the verse is when the head is shaved from the sides and the center is kept. The other type is when the head is shaved from the center and the sides are kept. When this question was asked to Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen, he says that Qadar is of different types. And he says that shaving, the first type is shaving the head partly from the left, partly from the right, partly from the front, partly from the back. Second type, he says, is shaving the head from the sides so that the hair is only in the center. Third type is shaving from the head from the center, so hair is only on both the sides. The fourth is shaving the head from the front and keeping the head behind. There are various types of Qadar. But all the fuqahas, all the scholars, they say that Qadar is prohibited unless it is imitating the kafir or the evildoers. So in terms of haircuts which are haram, is if you imitate the kafir and kuffar, you have no people, imitating the evildoers, the punk, the dyeing the hair and keeping only in the center, this is haram. Or imitating the kuffar, the kafir, or maybe a sportsman or a football player, all this is haram.
Regarding qaza, there are 3 opinions. 2 of them are extreme. One opinion is that the hair should all be even. and they go to the extreme that a certain part of the hair cannot be even by half a centimeter less than the other part of the hair, and this is obviously taking extreme position. And the other extreme position is that it doesn't refer to qaza, it doesn't necessarily refer to shaving the hair, and there is nothing wrong. It was actually meant for something else. It was a superstition at that time, and this is what the Prophet ﷺ meant. So there is nothing wrong in whichever shape you do your hair, and that again is an extreme position. The reality is the middle position, because in the hadith the Prophet ﷺ says, Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma yaqulu yanha anil qaza. The Prophet ﷺ forbade qaza. And qaza is shaving. It is not like trimming using scissors or a higher number of a trimmer. So if the hair is a little bit less to the sides, that is okay, but it should not be like that. It shouldn't be completely shaved, and it shouldn't be those weird shapes with the lines and all those kinds of shapes which many people these days they do. So on the one hand, we have the extreme position which says that it should be it should be all even, whether it is to the side, to the front, or to the back. And I have seen some people following this school of thought. They have grown the zulf, and the zulf from the from the forelock, it is exactly of the same length as the hair behind, and same is the case with the side hair. So the truth of the matter is that it doesn't refer, it's not that extreme like the army cut hairstyle. It doesn't refer to that. It doesn't refer to trimming. It doesn't refer to if you trim the sides a little bit with the scissor or even with a trimmer. But if you completely shave it around, or the sides are in the middle, or you have those extreme weird shapes and lines, then obviously that is what it has been prohibited. Wallahu a'lam.